Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I was actually going to make right at the start of the year, going into 2019. I was going to make it at the very end of the season, but I've decided to, put it off until now. That has nothing to do with my laziness, and more just down to the fact that we've got less than a week until Scottish football returns. So now is a good time to give my kind of preview for the second half of the season and look over the first half of the season. Now, this is why it would have been more suited if I made this 2 weeks ago, but as I've kind of shadowed already, I'm a bit lazy, but I'm here to talk about my predictions from the start of the season, how they are going right now up into the current point of the season, halfway to January transfer window, and how much I'm right and how much I'm wrong, because there's a lot of things I'm way off with. And this season has taken me by surprise. I think the majority of Scottish football fans can be in agreement in saying that this season so far has been exciting. It's been great to watch. The game keeps getting better. Up here, it's continuously just getting better with the players coming in, with the management we're seeing coming in, fans coming back to stadiums and such. It's just ultimately the game in Scotland is in a lot of a better state than what it was, say 4 or 5 years ago. It's just a lot more fun to watch and such, and it's good entertainment. So I'm here to review the first half of the season and compare my predictions with what the league table is actually like right now. And there's a few that I'm way off, even the first team. So I mean, let's just dive right into it. So starting at the bottom for 12th place, I predicted Livingston, who have defied all expectations right now. Right now, probably the most surprising team in the Premiership in terms of expectation and actual results. They are sitting 7th right now, and they've been in the top 6 since basically the very start. They've not really been that far down the table past 7th, and for coming up from the Championship last season with a team of players that I never knew any other players, with a budget of basically nothing, and starting the season a managerial kind of crisis, as the manager who got them promoted left. And then Kenny Miller came in, and Kenny Miller was gone after 3 games. You think to yourself, this is a mess for Livingston. How are they going to recover? How are they going to get something out of this season? And they have blown everyone out the park with how good they have been and how difficult they've been to beat. Celtic struggled when we went to the Tony Macaroni. We didn't get any points. We got a point. We got a point. They have been beating big teams at home and away. They are a good team to watch as well. They have really defied all expectation that I certainly had, and I believe a majority of fans. If you didn't have them at bottom, you had them near the bottom anyway, and right now they're on track for maybe pushed into that top half. More than likely be in the bottom half, but they will stay up by the looks of things. If I was to predict where they're going to finish for the second half of the season, it's up at 7th or 8th up there, because right now they show no signs of slowing down. They've got some good players. Yes, they've just lost Ryan Hardy. He's went back to Rangers, but I feel like they've defensively got a solid team. They know how to make it hard for big teams like Celtic anyway. They've shown that against us. But Livingston have really shocked me. I predicted 11th, Hamilton. You're going to hear a bit of clicking for this, which I'm not too far off if they're 10th right now. A favourite to go down. They're only 4 points off the bottom slot. One of the smaller teams in the league, of course, when it comes to budget and such, etc. So there's still a long way for Hamilton to go. I still think they'll finish around that region. Not much to say on them because it's pretty much the season expected. They always just seem to stay up by the skin of their teeth, and I think that's probably going to end up happening again, because I don't think right now, with the way things are going, that they'll finish bottom of the table. There's always that potential, but if they stay up, it'll be by the skin of their teeth as usual. 10th place, I predicted St Mirren, who are currently 11th in the table, who have struggled since coming up. Yes, obviously they had a managerial swap as well. Jack Ross left the club after 2 very successful back-to-back seasons, surviving relegation the first, winning the league the second, and then they came up and things just didn't start off too great either. They ended up bringing in Owen Kearney, and they're slugging their way through it. They're getting results here and there, and they're looking decent here and there, but really it's a tough season. It has been. They need to sign players. Not much to comment on, because they're basically doing what I expected them to do. It's like Hamilton. I expected them to be around that area in the table, not offering too much. Do I think they'll stay up? I think they can, because there's one team, the next team I'm moving on to, the team I predicted for 9th, who I think right now look like certainties for relegation, and that is Dundee, whose season has been terrible. I predicted them for 9th, And you know what? When I made that video, I was surprised I even put them ninth after making it. I was thinking to myself, why am I backing a Neil McCann managed side here? He's a pundit. He's a glorified pundit. And they find themselves rock bottom of the table, went winless for a long time. They do not have a great squad. They don't have a great morale. They're losing their best player to Rangers in the summer as well, which I imagine won't be a great atmosphere around the squad about that. Obviously, they're under new management. They were another team who have already switched their manager, Jim McIntyre, coming in. But once again, results are tough to get for Dundee. They have really struggled getting into the swing of things this season. And it looks like it'll be a long, long, long way away for them to stay up. So right now, second half of the season, this winter break can change a lot of things. A lot of teams are getting breaks. A lot of them able to go away and work on things. I think it will be a struggle for them to stay up this season. But, you know, all it takes is, you know, three wins. Even a win can separate them from the likes of St Mirren. So anything can change it. 8th place I had St Johnstone, who have actually done quite decent so far. They're sitting 6th place, 4 points ahead of 7th place. Livingston started gathering a good little bit of form. There was a good run in there for Tommy Wright's men. Once again, a team who I did expect to be in and around that region of 6th, 7th, 8th. I don't think they'll remain in the... Well, they could... I don't know. They might remain in the top half. It all depends if one team need to get their act together. That one team that I predicted big things for, and you know who I'm talking about. We'll see when we get to it. But St Johnstone, I think, will stay around that region. A decent enough side. And I know how to cause problems at McDermott Park. But yeah, not much to comment on there at all. 7th place, I have Motherwell, who have struggled this year. They, as of recent, they have started pulling it back a little bit. But started the season horribly, Motherwell. Very bad start for Goggsy's men. I predicted them for 7th. I don't think they'll finish anywhere near that high. I think they will be around that 9th or 10th place come the end of the season. They need to improve the squad. Quite simply, you know, you see the likes of Keeprey leaving them, and that is really hurting them. I still think they're recovering from losing the likes of Louis Moult, because they need a goal scorer like that. Motherwell, they've just not got it right now. You know, they've got a decent manager. We know that. We've seen what they've done last season. They got to 2 cup finals and finished in a decent position in the league. That's great. A great accomplishment for Stephen Robinson. But this year they've not been quite able to emulate that success. And I think they're probably in for another kind of... I think they're in for like a similar second part of the season where they'll struggle to get consistency. That's probably what they lacked most the last half of the season there, is consistency. Because you've seen them, like, 1 week they're sitting, you know, they got their first fucking point of the season or whatever against Rangers with a 90th minute equaliser, and you think to yourself, this could be it for Motherwell, this could be the start of something. Nice bit of confidence in there, and then the next week they looked absolutely dog shit. So, aye. 6th place I predicted was Kilmarnock, and bloody hell, Kilmarnock have had some seasons so far, haven't they? 1 point behind Celtic and Rangers at the top of the table. Well, we're talking about a team here who are basically joint top come, you know, the end there of December. Fantastic. Stevie Clarke is just... He's leaving everyone speechless. Unbelievable work there. Solid team to beat. Rugby Park, Fortress, it seems at points, because Celtic can't win there. Which is great. A very strong team. He's getting the best out of everybody in that team. He's getting the best out of the good players, and he's getting the best out of the bad players. There's players I look at that Kilmarnock team, I'm like, how are they even playing, you know, first team football? But it's just because Stevie Clarke knows what he's doing, and he's got the team functioning very, very well. They're sitting third right now. That's great. I mean, who'd have thought this? When Lee McCulloch was still in charge at the start of last season, would you have been thinking they were saying they were a point behind Celtic and Rangers 21 games into the league season? No, you would not. Hats off to Stevie Clarke. I had them finishing as 6th, predicted as 6th. Will they be able to keep up that great form? It's a very hard ask. Very, very hard ask for them to do that in the second half of the season and do as well as what they have done. I don't think they'll finish as low as 6th though. Maybe they will be the team to finish third this season. But aye, they'll do better than 6th. No doubt about that. They just need to keep up that form and hope that it never drops off. But they've got some good players. Brophy has been fantastic this season up front. They've got a strong defence. Just a really good team in all honesty. For 5th place I predicted Hearts, who obviously started the season terrifically. And injuries have just kind of came in and destroyed everything they were building. Yes, they're only 6 points behind Celtic and Rangers right now, which is not bad when you look at it in the grand scheme of things. The thing is about this league table right now, it's still so close. Between, you know, between St Johnstone and Celtic and Rangers, there's 8 points separating us. And you look at the league table over the past couple of years, it's been a completely different story. It's been 10, 20 points separating for first and sixth. It's been a very close season. I predicted Hearts 4th, 5th. They're sitting 5th. I expect them to finish around that area. They're struggling without the big names. Suter and Berra being out has not been handy, but considering how defensive and how much Craig Levein relies on defensive football, to not have his strongest defenders there really does hurt, I imagine. So Hearts, they need the best players back. They look as though they're pulling it back a little bit, but after the start they had, they were top for quite a while. And they looked really good, and they beat Celtic obviously right at the start of the season. Then a kind of demise that week. We ended up beating them back to back. They kind of started around then and downhill from there. Hearts have had a stinker as of recent. For 4th place, I predicted Aberdeen kind of kick a jelly bean. They couldn't for a while this season. They really couldn't. They started off quite poorly, pulling it back a bit now. Only 3 points behind Celtic and Rangers. Still could go and push for that 2nd place as they've claimed for the last few years up here. They still could do it. But sitting 4th, where I predicted them to finish and where I still think they will finish. They've been playing well of recent though. Obviously, they create a tough competition for both Celtic and Rangers when they come up against them. We beat them by the skin of our teeth once again. A couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was a very good performance from us. But Aberdeen can be difficult, but it's once again consistency's been bad for them this season. But at the start of the season, really cost them. They could be top of the table right now if they didn't start so badly. But 39 points they're sitting on just now. I'm not sure there's too much to complain about. They're still in contention to go and grab that 2nd place, which is realistically what they will want to achieve. 3rd place, I predicted was Rangers, who I still could see finishing 3rd, but we're going to be realistic and move them up to 2nd. I think they will finish 2nd. They have definitely improved under Steven Gerrard. There's no denying that. I can't come on the channel and be bitter. I've already been turned into a meme for saying Rangers are shite. I still firmly believe that they've got a long way to go. They've made some decent signings on this January window, Defoe obviously coming in. Am I worried that they'll stop 10 in a row? No. Am I worried that will happen this season? Definitely no. And yes, that's another one I could probably clip for the end of the season if Rangers end up winning the league. But it's all those games in between. It's all very well and good beating us at Ibrox, but there's a lot to do in between. We are still looking at a season of 17 games left, and Celtic can go 3 points clear with the game in hand they've got as well, so you've got to remember that. I do see them finishing 2nd though, and there's no denying they've improved, and they got a very good result in the last game there before the winter break, obviously beating us, which was heartbreaking and annoying and somewhat humiliating, but still a long way to go. But they made some decent signs. I do think they'll finish 2nd, above everybody else at the table. For 2nd place, I predicted Hibs. Now, what the fuck's happened there? You're letting me down. You're proving me a wanker, Neil. After last season, last season where Hibs could have easily finished 2nd if they just, didn't fuck it up right towards the end. If they had just a tad more consistency. Yes, they lost their 2 main players. Dylan McGeoch and John McGinn both left the club. But they brought in Cam Berry, who looked a decent signing. They brought in Stevie Malin, who looked a decent enough signing to replace at least one half of the centre mid partnership. They just looked like they still had a decent enough team. Not too much had changed, but obviously those 2 players leaving had such a big effect on Hibs that they find themselves sitting 8th. 8th in the table. Neil, you're proving me a bam. It's not went well for Neil Lennon this season with a lot of things. I feel like his morale's down, the team's morale is down. They've got a big second half of the season now. They need to do something. They need to impress. Otherwise, I don't think Neil Lennon will be here come the turn of 2019-20. They're not going to finish 2nd. Can they get back into the top 6? I believe they can. They've got the quality to do it. They just need to get the consistency to do it. They just need to get the performances out of the bag. And perhaps you're looking at a side that can push back into the top half. And for first, I predicted Celtic, and I will remain with Celtic. We've made 3 decent signings so far. I think there's more to come. And ultimately, we've already won the League Cup this season. We could go and win the Scottish Cup. I feel like we're just miles and miles still on paper the best team. And yes, sometimes on paper the best team doesn't always win. But when it comes to the stretch of 17 games, I think we're going to be the team that's taking the most points, which equals league title for Celtic. And maybe it'll be a lot closer next year, but it's looking close just now and it could go anyway. But I do firmly believe Celtic will still win the title. With ease? Maybe not. Maybe not this time, but we will win it. That about does it. That's my review of the first half of the season, and I've kind of predicted where everyone will finish for the second half and give a kind of brief insight. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. Let me know your opinions to my opinions. I hope you have all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.